Beautiful sisters. Just this moment. I am light. My goodness. So much going on. A million things start to happen all as this starts. The energy builds to now, and everybody decides they want to get in contact with me. But I'm here, and I'm really glad to be here. I'm really grateful for this space today. Yeah, really happy to be here, joining you and having you join. Yeah, so the song that helped create the space tonight was I Am Light, India Ari's beautiful song that I've really it's been my mantra for the last few days. I've really needed it, and yeah, so I just want to put that out there to you as well, for that to be a mantra. Oh dear. Sorry, I'm just got people that say they can't hear. Maybe go. You can't hear me, so I'm just gonna write on the conversation and just let people know to go. Restart. Yeah. Oh, hi. All right. Okay. Yeah. So I Am Light. Yeah, saying that that's this song that's helped create the space for me, for us tonight, and that having been yeah, a mantra, and a mantra for me at the moment. It's really been supporting me, so I'm offering that to you as well. I'll share the song yeah, in the group tomorrow, but yeah, just putting that out there, that I am light, and I feel like that is really going to be perfect for tonight. Before I go any further, I want to take a moment to just acknowledge the traditional caretakers of the land that I'm on, the Guringai people, and the traditional caretakers of the lands all around this planet. Those people that have cared for our mother so that we are able to live here and flourish, and may we learn from them and help. May they help us come back to being the caretakers rather than just the takers from this land. Okay, so yes, tonight we have another beautiful sister joining us. We have hi Maggie, oh so good to see you. We have the lovely Gabriela Ming from Soul Blossom, and we are going to be talking about the topic, we're diving trusting the healing process, trusting your soul and trusting infinity. So let's cross our fingers that this week our guest on, first time. Feeling it? Come on, Gabriela. The suspense. It's going out there. Okay. we will wait and see. We just need, she may just need to enable something, but it's heading out. So yeah, this topic today is, yeah, it's quite, as usual, quite, yeah, perfect timing. And it seems like each week the topic that we're talking about is appropriate for me, and when I talk to other sisters afterwards, it's appropriate for them too. I just want to acknowledge that that there's possibly a noise in the background, and that is, again, my dog chewing. He really likes to make sure his presence is noticed when we're doing this. Yes, so today being about trust, trust being a huge concept, a huge practice. Ah, there she is.
Hello. Sorry about that.
Oh no, that's all right. It happens. This is the world of technology, but you're here, so I'm so happy. Welcome.
Thank you.
So good to see you.
You too. It's been a little while.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, let's start. Now I've got you. Would you like to start by just, I guess, introducing yourself, sharing a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Well, I'm Gabriela. It's not quite stable just yet. Just a second. Didn't know it was stable until we were live. Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What would I like to say? Like I migrated 11 years from Switzerland to Australia, and I guess that was a huge process and a huge healing journey for me. And 5 years ago, I started my business called Soul Blossom. And 2 years ago, I was really, really lucky enough to take over a healing space in the eastern suburbs called Soul Space. And now I've been working there. Well, I've been working there for 5 years actually, but since 2 years I'm the custodian of this. That's what I see myself as. I'm making a space that offers a choice for people that deal with emotional, spiritual, physical issues. So we have a beautiful chiropractor, a naturopath, a holistic pediatrician. So, and myself, so we are the team there at the moment, which is very nice. And I guess my focus is really on leading people back to their heart, bringing people back in touch with their emotions. So like leading them from the mind back into the body, back onto the earth. And I guess I do that with tools and processes that I've learned through my studies of like an 11-year long healing journey that I've been on, and also studies that I've done here in Australia and overseas. So yeah, that's me, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. And yeah, that experience, my experience of you, and just hearing you describe your work in bringing people back to their bodies and the earth and their heart. Yeah. Yep. That's my experience of your work. And yeah, it was just this weird experience, like when you started talking, I was just sitting here going, oh, whoa, like this is, Gabriela is sitting here talking to me in this space. This is, yeah, it just feels so special. So I'm so grateful to have you here and sharing, your beautiful gifts.
Thank you, thank
Thank
you. And
you.
we've been on a journey together as well. We know each other for a few years as well, so it's really
Yeah,
nice to
yeah,
connect,
yeah, yeah,
be
it is.
together in this work, in our own ways. Mm.
Yes, yeah, yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
is. Um, yeah, and so the topic
Mm-hmm.
that you brought for us tonight,
Just a little
when
one.
yeah, just a little one. We'll just go. Yeah, when you first said, yeah, that it was you used the word infinity, and I was like, wow.
I don't think half an hour is enough.
You could have expanded it a bit more, and then you did. Which yeah, I was just saying before. Whoa. Yay. Yeah, I was just saying before you came live was that this topic is like and every week it seems to be that way, that this one's it's perfect timing for me. But I would love to hear about, yeah, how, like, because, yeah, you were saying trust the healing process, trust your soul, and trusting infinity. So I'd love to hear about what that means for you.
Good. I guess I start sharing from a personal experience, maybe. So how I actually came to understand that myself. I started to realize through a big experience that I went through without knowing that I'm going through a big experience, but on the reflection, I was like, oh, wow, that was huge. That myself, and I believe many other people, are creating a life around their circumference of knowledge, of wisdom, of healing and wounding. So like in my case, it was like I built my life around a core wound that I had, or like one that may still have, but not to that degree. And that after this healing process, or after this process of life that I went through, that really shifted in my core. And suddenly that core wound wasn't there anymore, and there was an infinite space. And I started to realize that like a core wound or a wounding creates like a limit to how far you can go, the possibilities you're actually seeing, the capability of trust in this. And it was actually quite confronting. I'm in my late 30s, to understand that I spent all my adult life where I had like free choice and I could do whatever I liked and I was in total charge of my life, that I actually created a life based on a deep wound and a hurt that I had, without really being aware of it. But also because of this, it allowed me only to grow a certain amount, I'd say. And now, because of that huge shift that has happened, it almost like led me into a meaninglessness, because the driver of my life was to heal this wound, to heal this. For me, it was like incredible abandonment. So, and then suddenly it's been witnessed and my abandoned part has been integrated. So I had lost my driver, and my existing life didn't really make sense anymore because the driver was gone. And I was like, oh wow, now the limit of the wound has been removed. And therefore, there is an infinite space of what I don't know really what that is. So, and then of course, like my mind was like contracting and was like, oh, that's really scary. It was so comfortable, so comfortable to be in my limit because I
Yeah.
was really safe. But then that's why like the saying like trust infinity came up. And that's where infinity comes in, because that's how I guess the human soul is, and the capacity of the human soul is, and that this infinite part of me finally has an opportunity to express itself. So that's how I guess that's how I started to understand this whole concept of trust and infinity and healing process of like of that constant expansion. But when you really hit the, yeah, if you really delicately hit the spot, I guess, of your core wound, and it can shift into a space of healing, that suddenly the horizon is so broad that you need then trust to trust this space. Before you need to trust your healing journey, and then you suddenly need to trust your freedom, your infinity, your expansion, your wholeness, because it's a new it's a new state of being, a new state of living in the heart. It's suddenly like, oh my God, I can't take a full breath now. So now what do I do with a full breath? Yeah. So yeah. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. It's the experience of being living with this wound, and like I guess kind of that being the filter of the world, like
Yeah.
that the world is seen, and like you said, the driver behind everything, and that being, I guess I'm it just I'm feeling into it, I guess, for my journey, you know, and that because I guess having been on my own healing journey, and the wounds that I've been working through, and then having a massive trauma in that, but even that being part, like I know that that's also part of that healing journey for me. Like it has, like I guess there's still, you know, I still go with the grief that comes and everything, but it has also, like you said, opened up this after the depth of the darkness, which, you know, there's moments I guess I go into that, but opened up this new space that I could never have opened to before. Living through that narrow lens that I had before, you know. I guess it can be that healing process doesn't necessarily come in the way that we expect it. It's not it's not always it's not always that pleasant, nice, here you go, like, and you know, I sit in a beautiful healing circle and I shed a few tears and some, you know, nice massage or something like that. Woo! And then infinity opens up. Right. Those things definitely support. But quite often it's something, it's a far bigger, and, you know, I guess for me it was a, taken out of my hands, ripped, and, you know, through this other thing, and knowing for you as well, it was kind of a stepping into, you had to step in and face something.
Like, I'm not sure if this is a space to share, but I can, like, if this is the space to share, so it doesn't, also for me it's not But what I'm hearing like from you, it's like through your experience, you really needed to trust that this is the process and that's the healing journey, and that's like you just have to go with it, and you have to find the hope and the light and the space in between, that keeps you going. And then when I guess there is a cracking,
Yes.
there is a cracking, and then when that crack happens,
Yeah.
you need to trust
Yeah.
that now, without the grief, or without, for me it was the abandonment, that the space remains safe, because even though it's quite unpleasant and challenging, it is safe because it's comfortable. Yeah, like for me, like, well, no, it's not comfortable, it is known. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's right. That yeah, there is, yeah, there is that known, and that there is a level of comfortable, and then there's, and at this point in time I'm on, well, I guess been I knew that this big time was coming up, so I've
yeah,
got some big things happening over the next month, and so there's been this, I know this is building, and now I've stepped into this other side, and there is, yeah, there is this discomfort, there is the unknown, like I'm in the unknown now, and that is
yeah,
really uncomfortable.
yeah.
um, yeah, really, really uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there is that, and it's a choice as well, and a practice
Yeah,
to come back to that trust.
yeah, 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 exactly. And now it's like knowing that we I guess the soul's journey is quite a mystery, and that's not news, but um that our soul has always our best intention. I think that's something really, so that my soul, like, has only the best, yeah, wishes me only the best, and it creates the life that is the best life for me, I guess. So even though my mind or society or my parents or whoever, like my ideals or my how life should be, um, that I can surrender and hand over to the soul and say, like, well, I know you're on my side. I trust you. Please lead me. Please, show me what's next. And if it brings discomfort, and if it brings challenge, and if it brings struggle, then trust that this is part of that journey, to come to this place that is infinite, and to live like to move away from a limiting circumference of how to view the world and how to be in the world, but really being in that expanded, open place to receive, like clear, not sure, maybe clear guidance, or just like clear communication with self, or clear communication with your soul. I just want to say hi, Kat. Nice to see you.
Oh, yes, hello, Kat. Oh. Yeah, and I guess, yeah, so there's that trust, yeah, that trust in the soul, and yeah, yeah, that I don't know why this came into my head. I guess I was sort of speaking to someone who I was mentoring to speak in front, like do some public speaking, and sort of saying, like, everybody wants you to succeed, like, and because it can kind of be sitting there, and you think everybody's looking for everything you're doing wrong, but everybody's kind of there behind you and wants you to succeed. And yeah, remembering that your soul, yeah, absolutely is walking you on that path for
Yeah.
your absolute, for the absolute best for you.
Yeah, exactly. There is a generosity, I think. You know, it's a very generous, like the soul is very generous, spirit is very generous. And like that person you were mentoring, like the audience is very generous. The generosity and like allowing the person to step up and step out to speak in public. And that's the same with your soul. It's an invitation. And it's generous, even though like from the mind is like, I don't want this, and does a little tantrum like, this is not how it's meant to be.
Yes.
um,
Yes, that's yeah. The mind brings it back in. It puts the blinkers on.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I guess that's part of that that trusting the infinity, the opening to the infinity. That when
Because
we're
it's easier to trust the limitation or the wound or the suffering or whatever word you want to use to describe that space. Depends what you're in. It's a different word. Because it's well known, and it's also reflected in, like, if we're participating in society and certain groups and certain people, we can see that people live within certain limitations and certain beliefs and certain wounds that creates their life experience. So if you come from that different place, then like there are not many landmarks how to actually trust an infinite place within yourself. There are also there are people that walk that place, but there are not as many people. Like, you don't walk down the street and see, like, or
that person's trusting that infinite place.
Yeah, and I believe you actually can see it in people. Like, I believe you actually can. And once you know it, you can see it in other people without knowing the person. But it's just a less common place to live from in the society we live in. And I think that makes it a challenge as well, because if we want it or not, we're informed by the norm, and the norm is informed by mainly a limitation or a suffering or a restriction or a contraction of some sort. So, and like for the first good 35 years of my life, I was living with it. So, and now, like, it's a complete different space to live from. So the attachment to things just moved away. So it doesn't matter. Not like that's, I think, really, like, because I had to have this identity of Gabriela being, a healer and having a healing space and having that strong sense of, like, identity, which is almost like, a little boat in the middle of the ocean, so I knew who I was. And after, like, cracking, now that identity has shifted. So, like, well, so what? So if I need to go and become a cleaner, it doesn't matter. If I need to go and change into a corporate career, well, then so will be it. Like, it's just the attachment to identity and how life should be completely turned upside down, which was its own challenge again. Which was difficult again, because, like, I thought I just got it, and then, like, like, well, now I have my life created the way I wanted and I always dreamed of, and here you go, check this out. What about if you come from a place of wholeness, not a place of, fragmentation? It's like, oh, I need to learn that first. And I need to learn to life first.
Yep. I just got my shit together. Awesome. Now I can just cruise along, and everything's lined up. Sweet. And then Yeah. To
And
that.
actually through a beautiful healing, you know, and that's the thing. I had all my docs lined up from a place of wounding and suffering, you know, and then this huge healing occurred, and then all the docs that were lined up, they need to rearrange because, yeah, so but there is this massive spiritual emotional shift, and then the mind needs to sort of integrate and say like, but hold on, that's how the dogs have to be. And yeah, if that makes sense. So like I'm still like, it's been almost 2 months now, and I still don't have a vision for the future. I still don't know what's going to happen. I still don't know who I really am in this, but it doesn't matter, because like something in me is like, well, all I really can do is trusting that lightness and that openness, you know, that infinity within me. Yeah. So, and I guess my intention with sharing it is like, whatever the individual healing process is like, if it's like exhilarating and ecstatic right now, or if it's really dark and gloomy and difficult right now, or, you know, stretching you to the edges and every cell of your body, keep trusting it. I think that's important, because then the other side will come. So yeah, we have to show, like we show up so many times, you know, and we need to keep on showing up. So, but there is no right and wrong in an individual healing process. And the healing is not right or wrong either, because it's that very unique expression of the soul that needs to happen eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, and that. Alfie, come on.
Hi, Alfie.
Just making his presence known again. That trusting. And depending on the, like, sometimes that trusting can be a whole lot easier than other times, and sometimes that trusting is almost like, I know I know for me, and even just today, like, you know, today I waved goodbye as my partner traveled to the other side of the world for nearly a month.
Has he gone now?
Yeah. So that was huge, a huge, you know, and again, still, I know that it's going to be good and it's necessary and everything, and there's also you know, there's grief coming up, and there's all this other stuff coming up, and so there's been moments today where my trust, I've basically been holding on to that with my little pinky finger, just like trusting. I know that this is what I need, and and then there's other times.
Like, can I just like what if, just a second, just like, what about, like you said, like, I'm holding on with my pinky finger to the trust, but what about if your soul holds on the pinky finger onto you and says like, stay with me, stay with me. You're actually not holding on to it, it is actually holding on to you, like,
just keep trusting, just stay. And I guess that is it can be the holding, allowing the soul to hold you in that place, like the soul being a you know, the arms that you can lean into and be in that trust, and because like there's my partner's gone, but there's all these other things that are happening, and like opening, like I could definitely quite easily, not because it's comfortable, because it's known, I could go into all sorts of lovely, you know, deep dives into all sorts of pain and suffering for myself.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
Yeah.
definitely, there's been pain today, and I know that there will be, and that's part of
Hmm.
this process.
Yeah.
And there is also that, yeah, I was holding that curiosity, and for me, that's that curiosity of what's on the other side, that opening to the infinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, the endless possibilities of what this is,
Yeah.
what's happening right now, what's happening for me on every level.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. It's a dance.
Mm.
Yeah, it is a dance and a choice. I think that's really important as well. As you say, like, well, I could go into all these really deep, dark places, but something within you, or you making conscious choice to just doing your best to not go there.
Mm.
Yeah, or if you go there, to come out of it again. So you're
Mm.
choosing, you
Yeah.
know, um, to really, um, to really create your experience that you want to have in the next 4 weeks.
Mm.
Uh, so like, well, yes, I can experience everything, but like that's my ideal, or that's my choice to have
Mm.
an experience that is enjoyable for me, however that looks like. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And
Mm.
that it's coming back, and yeah, like, you know, sometimes it will be going into that dark
Yeah.
space because there's something in there that
Mm.
I need to see, and
Yeah.
also opening to other spaces, you know, that you know, parts of that infinity,
Yeah.
um, that are actually opening in this time.
Yeah.
Um,
And I
yeah,
think in this as well, it's like what I'm trying to play with the words around things just being an experience. So because it's the duality that the mind lives in, of like, this is good or bad, this is challenging, this is dark, this is light, uh, and sort of like, because the soul, I think, needs all experiences of life to express itself. So for the
mm,
soul itself, it's just an experience. Um, so, and reminding myself, oh, this is just an experience. It might be uncomfortable for my body. It might be uncomfortable for my heart or my mind. Yeah, my mind definitely doesn't like it. Um, but like taking it away from like, oh, this is like now a bad experience or a challenging experience. I shouldn't have that experience, or like making the experience wrong, but just like it accept as an experience, because when someone has a experience of lightness, of joy, of happiness, of gratitude, people never wish those moments away. And
mm,
they just want to stay in those moments. However, those moments pass as well.
mm,
Yeah, and then we can easily get attached to those moments. Or like, I wish, like 2 weeks ago, I was really happy. I wish I could come back to those 2 weeks. Or what happened then? And it's more just like everything it's like, it's just like one experience after another experience, and everything is impermanent in it. So without needing to be a dark or a light or a bad experience. And that makes the
mm,
experience for my mind, or that makes it easier for my mind to actually go through darkness, or go through the challenge, to actually take the darkness away and say like, oh, that's that experience, okay. So
mm.
I'm just gonna wait until that experience changes and becomes another experience.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
hope
and
that.
like, yeah, I think like you said, like with that, like each piece being an experience, and it
Yeah,
um like it's also like needing all of those experiences, our soul needing all of those
Yeah.
experiences, and for us to know, you know, and come back to our soul. We you know, need that to come back and know that wholeness, that
Yeah.
that complete.
Exactly. Exactly. And I just was thinking as you were speaking, like, we are really in like baby shoes on how to live a whole life, like a life of wholeness. That we are navigating this space, you know. So this is like our, you know, and because we haven't had the experience of, like, from the moment we're born to the moment where we are now in our life, or like, I need to speak for myself, I have not had an experience that was whole, or included an emotional, spiritual reality. So now I'm sort of forced or choosing, whatever, I'm not sure which one it is, uh, to bring that part alive. But it's almost like I'm 40 years old and I'm in preschool with it all. Even though I'm an adult. But it's sort of like, so why is this thing so hard? It is because there are no roadmaps, or there hasn't been any guidance, or I haven't been shown. When I was like in preschool age, no one spoke to about spirit with me, or no one spoke about emotions or wholeness with me. I just got the do's and don'ts. So, and I find maybe that's the imbalance that we're experiencing as adults, you know, on our healing journey now, to sort of like really that healing process being really clunky, or that experience of life being clunky. It doesn't necessarily need to be a healing process, because we are, in one hand, we are adults and standing with both feet in our life, and then spiritually, emotionally, we are in preschool.
Yes.
I'm not sure how to deal with it, or how to handle it. Like,
yes, and I think that there's moments when it can kind of, you know, and it might be before we move into this next phase, you know, when we've got all our ducks lined up and all our shit together and everything, you know, we feel like we're I'm an adult. I'm adulting this.
Exactly.
And then then it's just like boop, you're back to being the baby in it, and that unknown again, and that learning again, and being new, which can be really uncomfortable. And then you think about the baby and their curiosity with the world, and just like all of these things are just like amazing. What is that? That's my toe. How cool is that?
Exactly. But I think there is, like, because we're coming from, like, we're not going to go back into our soul or into our experience and like, oh my God, this is my abandonment. How amazing is that? You know? I'm going to go back there because somewhere along the line I've learned abandonment is not a fun thing. Or it's not a, or I shouldn't have it, or I shouldn't, like, you know, that there is already like preconceived ideas about what abandonment is. So my mind has already made up that this is a bad thing, so I don't like the experience. So I can't actually go in there with curiosity and go there and say like, oh my God, you know, this is abandonment. Can I check you out? You know? So I think that's the difference, because when the baby is really a baby, it doesn't have all of that and really can go and explore,
Mm.
the big toe if that's
Mm.
what it explores.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I guess
The dissonance.
there are those things where it is easier to be curious and to be able to explore, and then there's those other things, and like babies, those some of those things that they do face that are quite scary, you know, and
Yeah,
little kids with the monsters, you know,
yeah,
what is that? Like
yeah.
that's quite scary. What's that noise? I don't know what that is. That
Mm,
unknown.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and being able to be in a place of compassion and being with ourselves when there is that,
Mm,
what is that? I don't know what it is, and I'm heading
yeah.
um
Mm,
into this unknown.
yeah. So
Yeah.
can we then be childlike curious,
Mm.
and remain childlike curious when we're journeying into the unknown, even though it seems like, dark as a new moon night? Uh, um, or are we actually contracting and,
Mm.
sort of try to pull and pedal back from it? So I guess that can create a different experience as well.
Yeah.
How we're approaching it. So if I
Yeah.
go with a childlike curiosity of full steam ahead, let's go, check this out, abandonment thing, yay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just the little baby steps towards it, you know, the
yeah,
hey, what is that? Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. Instead of just already like, um, yeah, not wanting to go there. Mm,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. It's yeah, it's it's so huge. It is the infinity, you know,
Yeah,
the everything, all of the experience, and
yeah.
that trusting, yeah, coming back
Mm,
to that trust in this is this is the path, you know, and there's times, and you know, I still go there, I still get there, you know,
yeah.
I and having, you know, gone through the experience I've gone through, I would never,
Mm,
I can't actually say everything happens for a reason, as this,
no.
you know, like I think before I was able to, I would say that, and it's kind of now it just is this, it doesn't capture the depth of
No,
the experiences of life,
no. I think it's an
that we
incredible
all live.
simplification, like that.
Yes.
Everything happens for a reason is an incredible simplification of a very deep spiritual teaching.
Yeah.
That's what I really think. Yeah.
Yes.
Because, yeah, the way that's been used is not empowering, or it's not,
Mm,
um, strengthening for in life. It's just more
mm,
like, well, you have this experience because obviously you need to learn something.
mm,
It's almost a disempowerment in it,
mm,
because you're not quite good enough or healthy enough or whatever it is, lovable enough
mm.
or whatever it is. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and
yeah,
really dismissive as well.
yeah,
Everything happens for a reason, so move on, you know, get over
e-
it.
exactly, exactly.
Mm,
It has a dismissive sort of
mm,
energy. Yeah, yeah,
mm.
yeah.
Yeah, when
Hmm. Hmm.
there's some massive, yeah, that in that infinity, these experiences can be at times feel pretty torturous and,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
really hard. Like, you know, there's times when they're uncomfortable, but there's times when it's excruciating, and
Yes.
that um
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like yeah, needing to really hold the breadth of that experience, that
Mm.
infinity as being, you know, that we never know what's going to be coming
Yeah.
around the corner. And yeah,
Yeah.
that,
And
yeah,
I
so
guess in those moments where when the experiences are excruciating, I like the analogy that the soul is actually holding on to us, because it's excruciating for the part of us that is suffering, for the part of us that's separate or disconnected. But it's not excruciating for the soul. It's for the soul. It's just like wherever we going into the depths of our being or outside of our body or whatever we going in these journeys that are excruciating. That's where the soul is just sort of like, stay with me, stay with me. I'm your guide. Like surrender to this, and that's indeed in those moments. Because most of the time when the experience has been excruciating, there is a moment that something changes, and that's when the soul reaches the part within of you that suffered, and that's the moment of healing, that the suffering realizes that there is a greater holding of the soul. And the journey is safe in that sense. Yeah. So it's leading the part of suffering back into the greater sense of self.
yeah, yeah,
Even though
that,
we might
yeah,
feel we hold the pinky out for the trust, it is actually coming for us and holding on to us.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that beautiful, yeah, allowing that holding in whatever that experience is, that leaning back
Yeah.
into something, yeah, there's something else besides this, whatever's going on
Yeah.
in my body and my head, there's something else holding this,
Yeah.
the giganticness of this experience,
Yes.
and that is going to, yeah, it's yeah, there's something able to navigate this. I don't necessarily have to figure this out and navigate this. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is like where the mind or the body, or like that's where it has to trust the greater, the soul and the soul's journey in this. And then like coming out of the suffering, being on the other side, is like when the suffering has ended, then the trust is that life is safe in the expansion, if that makes sense. That the being accustomed to how do I frame it, being accustomed to that journey of needing to hold on, or having excruciating experiences in life, or having tumultuous trial, or being tortured by our life's experiences. When that changes, something really big changes, like when it changes in the body, when it changes in the emotional, and this energy has shifted, the mind needs to adapt to this change. And because it's still on its old little road of suffering, maybe. And suddenly, like the experience, it's sort of like, and I know for myself, sometimes it goes in the body and tries to find anxiety, or tries to find, so it's just for fun, let's feel anxious for a bit, and the body doesn't have it anymore. Yeah. And the body's like, what are you looking for? That's a long time gone. Yeah.
The mind, it's always the last to know.
Exactly. The mind is always the last to know. So
Yeah.
when you're on, when you're on the other side of this, like when you come out of the depth and the darkness of your healing journey, and you experience that infinite place within yourself, and suddenly all the boundaries have been shattered and taken away, and all the limits have been taken away, and you're like, oh my God, this is how big I am, and oh my God, that's how my soul feels, and oh my God, that now I know the connection to myself. Then it needs trust from that place to stand in life, in that expansion. And that's what, I guess, after my big shift, that what freaked my mind out. I'm sort of like, I've got nothing to hold on to, you know. Last year I got rid of the anxiety, this year I'm getting rid of the abandonment, I've got nothing to hold on to. and and that's then I guess that's another step in the healing journey, to then really like having the whole journey of life really requires trust. But it's not like once we have healed this one thing that we may be working with, or the multiple things that we're working with, everything's gonna be then very easy, because there is a part of us, like they say, like mind is the last to know. So we have to, it has to be retrained almost, or reminded that expansion is something beautiful, expansion is something really important, and that it doesn't have to know, but it can just be, and like finally the heart leads the way, and it can actually relax. Because when the mind has to do everything, it's quite overwhelming for the mind as well, and it wants some greater holding. So that's then where, I guess, surrender into your own soul comes in. And then eventually the mind can be informed from the soul, from the heart, and they're like, oh, this is what we're doing now. Okay.
Yeah, that way of where the messages come from, rather than the head telling the body and thinking that it's telling, and really tapping into that and it coming.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, and it beautiful that it should, because I'm thinking we're probably wow, awesome. Kind of wrapping it up, and it just the thing that came into my head was the song that helped create the space for tonight, and that's that I Am Light, and that really, to me, like, is basically that infinity and opening to that expansion. And so that for me at the moment, like that being my mantra, and that being I'm kind of connecting to that place, and telling my mind, I'm going, I am light, I am that infinite, and this is bigger than just this little piece here, this little thing that I'm hearing here. It's bigger than that.
And it's an important reminder along the way, and it doesn't matter how much healing work you've done or how little healing work you've done, because life and spirit are incredibly generous. So there is like, it's an endless journey, to life. I think on the moment when we're passing over, I think we're gonna get this, I've got it.
My partner's just
searching
me from Korea. Of course, right now.
Of course.
Yes. It's so huge and so important and so deep and so wide, and I'm so grateful for you bringing this to us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. And so is there anything that you want to share with our sisters? Anything you're doing, anything on offer at the moment that you wanted to, yeah.
All right. I can do shameless self-promotion here.
Get rid of the shame. Tell us what you're doing.
I guess the things that are in the pipeline at the moment, there is a retreat coming up in early October, not the long weekend. I think it's the weekend after with the full moon. It's called Beyond the Veil. It's in the Blue Mountains, and it's going to be a 4-day immersion into the sacredness of the land, of your heart, of course. It's a little bit structured like a vision quest. So there will be private quest time. There will be full moon ceremonies. There is a huge cave on the land where we're going to have a massive drumming circle in it one night with a fire. So, and we can sleep in a cave if we choose to, so it's all possible.
Wow.
So we've still got some spots left for that retreat. We also have a vision quest coming up at the end of October. So we've got 2 more spots for that left. Next year, going to Peru for 13 days. So,
wow.
So yeah, that's like if anyone is interested, just get in touch with me, and I'm happy to forward more information about those 3 offerings that are out there at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll get if you share Soul Blossoms page in the group after this, and then people can come and find all of those things and connect with you.
Definitely, I'll do that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Good. Wonderful.
Thank you. Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much for your time and for your wisdom and insight and all of the sharing of your heart with us.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone that came and listened to this chat and was here. I really appreciated your presence, so thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you all, beautiful sisters. And we don't have that long to, thanks Maggie. We don't have that long until the next one. Actually, it's coming up a bit sooner. So we've got our beautiful sister Kelly Curtis that's going to be joining us. She's actually just been solar eclipsing it over in the US, so she's not she's not back in the country yet. So I'm really interested to hear what she's coming back with. So that will be Sunday Sydney Australia time at 5 p.m. So that's our next conversation, and I've got some other pretty amazing big conversations lined up for future weeks as well. So I just love this. It's so special.
Beautiful. Yeah.
All right. Well, you all take care, beautiful women. Thank you so much, Gabriela.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Megan. And enjoy your chat with your partner. I'm glad he landed safely.
I will. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.